Hey, Ryan Williamson here with Sourwood Farm. It is in the 90s, hot, humid, nasty outside, little wildflower smoke. I'm inside in the air conditioning. It's so wonderful. I've got a little project on hand and I thought I'd shoot a little video because people have asked. I'm about to make up queen candy. Specifically, the idea is that we're gonna put the queen and a couple of attendants in a little cage, this being the JZBZ, but there's lots of different types. And we're gonna fill this little tube here with a kind of a fondant. The goal being that we're gonna time release the queen getting out of the cage so that as she's being released, the attendants or all the bees in the colony are getting to know her pheromones. So rather than us going in and disturbing the colony a couple days later, we're gonna fill this cage, this tube with candy and let them slowly time release out. Typically around 2 days is my goal. Maybe 3 to 4 would be better. Making queen candy is kind of a bit of an art, and a lot of people have asked me how I do it, and I just say, I just throw some stuff. So it's just 3 ingredients: powdered sugar. In this state, using honey is illegal, so this is light Caro syrup. Both of these I don't particularly care for. This has got some added ingredients like vanilla flavor. Not a great idea, but I can't find something that doesn't have that. And powdered sugar also has some ingredients as in cornstarch for anti-clumping. Be nice if that wasn't in there. That said, I've been using this recipe for quite a few years and not seen any issues. I've accidentally left queens in cages for weeks and they've been able to live off of this, or the attendants, and then feeding the queen. And then the third ingredient, which is a new one for me as of a couple of years ago, my friend Ruth Sorensen told me about this concept. It's a little bit of vegetable glycerin. The biggest challenge I used to have with the candy is it would get rock hard sometimes, and then the bees might take a week to get out, and that's not good. The vegetable glycerin is food grade, okay for us to eat, appears to be okay for the bees to eat because I've been doing this for quite a while and not seeing any issues. But it basically absorbs moisture from the atmosphere and helps keep this fondant soft. And that's been a real game changer to me. So what I've done is, I'm just gonna pour. I have no idea what the measurements are. I go by feel. It's kind of like baking can be. But I've already gone through and weighed the ingredients that I'm putting in here ahead of time, and then I'll weigh them at the end and we will see actually what the ingredients are. So we're just gonna pour out a good bit of powdered sugar here, make a little mountain. It's kind of like, I don't know, playing in school. We're gonna make a little well here. And now I'm gonna start pouring in some of the corn syrup. Just going by feel here. And then the vegetable glycerin, I've always just poured into the cap just so I don't accidentally pour too much, but I'm gonna just pour in, it's not much. We're gonna try a 1/4 teaspoon. Oh, that was a little bit more than that. Might be almost half a teaspoon there. And this is going to be, got a lot of cages to fill, so we're shooting for at least 100 cages worth. So it's not much of that vegetable glycerin. And then this is the fun part. I really probably should get a stand mixer for this, because now I'm making up, I don't know, about 100 cages a week, and this takes some time. But we're just going to slowly start incorporating the corn syrup. This part is, I don't know, I kind of enjoy it. The kids really enjoy playing with it too, making a good old mess. School just got out, so they're upstairs playing school, which is kind of funny. And I figured I'd be up here in the house and have an excuse to be out of the heat while they're playing. And we're just gonna fold that in. I'm already feeling like I could use a little bit more of this corn syrup. And then I've of course got more powdered sugar, so if I end up making this a little bit too liquidy, I can add in more powdered sugar. And we're just gonna keep kneading this away. And I'm thinking I probably should put the camera on pause. So we'll pause and I'll keep going. Well, I've made a good mess. Hands are a little bit sore. Already thinking about how it'd be nice to have a stand mixer to do this work for me, but this is feeling good. One of the challenges I've found is that over time, if I make this what feels perfect, it then becomes a little bit more moist over the next 24 hours. And I think it's just the moisture from the corn syrup slowly absorbing in and softening up the powdered sugar. So just to be aware that you can make it what feels perfect and then come back in a little bit and go, oh gosh, that's a little bit too moist. This is feeling pretty good. I might change my mind and think that it just needs a little bit more powdered sugar. But for right now, this lump right here of sweetness was 5.3 ounces of corn sugar, or corn syrup, sorry. So 5.3 ounces of corn syrup and 17 ounces of powdered sugar and roughly half a teaspoon of the vegetable glycerin. I think honey would be a far better ingredient, but in the state of Virginia, I cannot legally put that into my queen candy, so I can't use it. If I used honey, I would nix the corn syrup, and I would also nix the vegetable glycerin, and I would just be doing honey and the powdered sugar. Wish I could do that, but I can't. So yeah, here we go. This is looking good. And oh, hello, Eli. The next step is going to be filling the candy tubes. And what I basically do is keep, with the JZBZ ones, keep it vertical like that and just shove it in, kind of like that. And it actually, I'm getting it so it goes a little bit too far through. So now I'm going to then push it back. So now the candy is nice and compact in there. And that one is done. It wears on me if I'm doing hundreds of these and this is nice and stiff. So sometimes I'll wear actually a bike glove just for that pressure on my palm. So now we're going to come back in here, get that straight, shove, 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 until I see the candy coming through a little ways like that. And now I'm going to push it back. And that's all it is. So I'll fill up a bunch of these and store them in a Ziploc bag so they don't absorb or get dried out, depending on. The other thing I should have mentioned is with the vegetable glycerin, in the early spring, I'm going to add more of it because we have a very dry environment here. And then now that we're in the hot, humid part of the summer, I'm going to use less of it because there's a lot more humidity and moisture in the atmosphere, so I don't need that. And now, just while we're talking, that little short amount of time, this has already gotten softer feeling. It's kind of like baking bread where you knead it a little bit and then it changes consistency over a little time. I'm almost thinking I might need a little bit more powdered sugar. It feels really nice to the hand touch right now, but the last thing I want is this candy to get too moist in transit and melt and ooze all over a queen and kill her. Yeah, that would be the worst. So I'd rather err on the side of just a little bit too firm. So that recipe I just gave you is off by a little bit now. I'll have to put the actual final measurements in the notes. So here we are. We're going to add in just a little bit more powdered sugar. See, I rushed things. I should have waited a few hours before taking the second part of the video. Yeah, oh, gotta love it. So my goal is to have all these cages filled and ready for Monday when I ship out. Oh, I've got a lot of orders coming in for Virgin Queens to ship. So it's been a really fun experience sending queens all over the nation, from coast to coast up to almost Canada, down into the far south. It's been really fun meeting a lot of neat people and neat sending queens that I put a lot of effort into and all over, and hearing good results from some people. It always feels a little strange to put a bunch of insects in a little box and send them away, and just fingers crossed for them to, they don't get cooked in transit. I do overnight UPS for most of my shipments, except for within Virginia, then it's UPS ground because that's a whole lot cheaper and just as fast. And now it's feeling, you can see this is kind of, it's almost like pastry where it's layering. But that'll go away as the moisture kind of, I don't know how to say it, but as the corn syrup, and I knead it, it'll all, eventually get all moist and stick. I'm definitely feeling stiff, but we'll keep going. All right, this is feeling better. I ended up adding just an ounce more of the powdered sugar. So now we are a little bit stiffer. It's actually a little stiffer than I like, but I know that it's going to get softer with a little bit of time. So that'll be good. See how it's kind of tearing. It's not sticking to my hands. So here we are. Pardon my bad writing, but we are 5.3 ounces of the light corn syrup, 18 ounces of powdered sugar, and half a teaspoon of vegetable glycerin. That's a pretty good batch. This should do at least 100 cages, so we could scale that back down. Kaya is, my 9-year-old, is doing a little filming here, so she's going to move us around. I'm going to put on my gloves, just because, again, when doing hundreds of these, it starts to wear on my palm. And we'll just start, again, just pushing down until I can start seeing the fondant coming up through. And I'm going to open it back up and squish it in tight. I don't want the fondant to be proud, sticking out, or to be down inside. I just want it to be perfectly even with the whole length of the tube. And then I store them just like this, with this part open, so that when I go to use it, I can grab the queen and just walk her in there, and then grab the attendants and walk them in there. So thank you for tuning in to this episode of making sweet stuff, I guess. You know, it feels strange to be feeding bees this concoction, but it really works well. I've filled thousands of candy cages with this recipe over the years. Seems to work pretty good. I'm sure there's better ways to be doing it, so if you know of those, please let me know. Always willing to improve. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hope this is useful, and take care.